this week, and the worst case is, for me, Google Glass. So I've talked about Google Glass over the course of our podcast. I've been fascinated with the product and its potential and everything. So I finally got myself a pair of Google Glass, and my first experiences were with it similar to the SNL skit on Google Glass, where it's really easy to use. It's really easy to use. You keep trying to activate it, and I keep trying to activate it, and it activates sometimes, doesn't all the time. The screen doesn't hold once you activate it, so you go on to the next command, and it doesn't hold long enough for you to issue the next command. So it's been largely a very disappointing experience. And so the next experience I've had with the Google Glass I'm going to tell you about, but first I have to preface it with saying that, yes, I know, this is a first world problem. I know after I discuss this, we'll put the video on YouTube, we're going to have a bunch of people saying, idiot, glass hole, da-da-da, so I know, but I commute on the bus to work every day, and I put my Google Glass in my bag. And on the way back from work this past week, I took when I got home, I took my Google Glass out of my bag, and it had gotten jostled, and the stem of my Google Glass got bent widely. And I don't know if you can see it, but right there, I'm going to put it up to the camera, there is a bend mark just beyond the reach of the protective metal of the stem of the glass. And so it got bent widely over. And my Google Glass...
Doesn't it have a case, Dave?
It has a case that wouldn't protect it from this.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's useless. I've got a dead piece of Google Glass. It absolutely doesn't work.
And what does Google say?
Well, I haven't talked to Google yet, so that's the next week. I'll find out what Google has to say about this. I suspect I'm screwed because this wasn't Google's fault per se, right? Because it just happened to get bent in the jostle of my bus experience.
Well, I'm sorry, but when I spend $1,500 for something, I expect it to have a case that's going to protect it from normal.
So, you look at the metal, right? The metal lining of the stem doesn't extend to the point where it would, it should extend far beyond, so it doesn't, it protects it against this type of situation. It's not going to bend at this part. It's too thick, right? So there's a design flaw in Google Glass that allowed this.
Well, that makes me think you're not the only person that has had
I would think. And I don't think a lot of people are going to talk about this, right? This is embarrassing. I mean, I spent a lot of money for what ultimately was a 2-week experience, and now I've lost. I mean, I have no value on that no return on investment, right? So
well, all is not lost yet. You haven't talked to them, and it is possible that they'll say, "Gee, this is an issue that we know about, and we'll fix it." Let's hope for the best.
Yeah. So far it's a worst case. Hopefully it turns into a happy.
So that brings us to the end of the Beyond Social Media Show, episode 38. And you can find us online. You can find David at D. Erickson on Twitter, at eStrategyblog.com and eStrategy TV. And you can find me at What's Next on Twitter, at What's Next blog, and at maximum-plus.com, which are workshops for learning Google. And I occasionally write for Ad Age and Social Media Today. And you will find our show notes on our blog, which is at beyondsocialmediashow.com, and also on our YouTube channel, where we will timestamp the episodes so that if you want to go to a particular segment, you can just click on the time and go right to it. And this is Noni Achman. And we're signing off, and we'll see you next week. Thanks.